The day I got the HOA's 5th violation notice in a month, stapled to my mailbox like some passive-aggressive post-it, I swear I saw red. Non-compliant lawn decor, it read. Whining about my single garden gnome, a chipped little guy named Gus I'd had since my college days. Look, I'm not one to stir the pot, but this was war. My name's Jake, 34. Just a regular dude trying to live my life in this cookie-cutter subdivision in suburban Ohio. I'd moved here for the quiet, the good schools, the whole American dream shtick. But the HOA man, they're like the fun police with a vendetta. Leading the charge was Karen Yep, that Karen head of the HOA board, with her bleach blonde bob and a glare that could curdle milk. She patrolled our street like a hawk, clipboard always at the ready, sniffing out anything that didn't scream beige conformity. My gnome. Apparently, he was a threat to the neighborhood's aesthetic integrity. Give me a break. It started innocently enough. I'd bought this house 2 years ago, a modest 2-story with a decent yard. I'm no landscaper, but I kept the grass mowed, the hedges trimmed, and Gus chilling by the mailbox. He was quirky, sure, but he hurt no one. Then Karen moved in next door, and suddenly my lawn was her personal crusade. First, it was a friendly note about my grass being half an inch too long. Then she whined about my porch light being too bright. By the time Gus got targeted, I was done playing nice. I tried reasoning with her at the HOA meeting, figuring I could charm my way out. Karen, it's just a gnome, not a neon sign, I said, keeping my tone light. She didn't even blink. Rules are rules. Jacob, remove it by Friday, or it's a $50 fine. The room went quiet, and I could feel every neighbor's eyes on me. I nodded, smiled, and walked out. But inside, I was plotting. See? Karen didn't just want compliance, she wanted control. She'd gotten the whole street to rip out wildflowers, repaint unapproved mailboxes, even ditch Halloween decorations because they were tacky. Everyone just rolled over, too scared of her fines or her wrath. Not me. I started small, testing the waters. I left Gus out past her deadline, and sure enough, a fine showed up. So I paid it. But I also bought a second gnome, then a third. By week 2, I had a whole gnome village by my front steps. Karen lost it. She'd storm over, banging on my door, yelling about visual clutter. I'd just shrug and say, "They're my therapy gnomes. Karen. Doctor's orders." Total BS, but it got her every time. The neighbors started whispering, some chuckling behind her back. Old man Jenkins across the street even gave me a thumbs up one morning. But Karen doubled down. She got the HOA to pass a new rule. All lawns must conform to a uniform aesthetic. Translation: no gnomes, no flags, no personality. Just grass, shrubs, and misery. That's when I knew I had to go big or go home. I spent a weekend researching HOA bylaws, turns out. They hadn't banned temporary decorations. Loophole city. I hit up every dollar store in a 20-mile radius, loading my truck with the tackiest, most in-your-face lawn decor I could find 50 pink plastic flamingos. I'm talking retina-searing pink, the kind that screams, "Look at me." I stayed up till 2 a.m., staking them into my lawn, spacing them just right, so my yard looked like a flamingo rave. For the cherry on top, I grabbed a can of red spray paint and a piece of plywood, scrawling HOA can kiss my flamingos. I propped it up by the mailbox, right where Karen couldn't miss it. The next morning, all hell broke loose. I was sipping coffee on my porch when Karen's SUV screeched to a stop. She stormed out, clipboard shaking in her hand, face the color of a ripe tomato. "Jacob, this is an outrage," she shrieked, gesturing at my flamingo army. I leaned back in my chair, smirking. "What's the problem? Karen, they're temporary." Bylaw 7.2, check it. She sputtered, flipping through her precious rulebook, but I knew I had her. The bylaws were vague enough to give me wiggle room, and she knew it. Neighbors started peeking out, phones in hand, filming the showdown. Jenkins was practically crying, laughing from his porch. Karen tried to rally them, yelling about community standards. But half the street was Team Flamingo by now. I'd underestimated Karen's pettiness. That afternoon, a tow truck rolled up, hired by the HOA to remove unauthorized items. They started yanking my flamingos, tossing them into a heap like some kind of lawn ornament massacre. I ran out, yelling, "You can't touch those. They're on my property." The driver shrugged, saying he was just following orders. That's when I saw red again. I grabbed my phone, called a buddy who's a lawyer, and got him to draft a cease and desist letter faster than you can say HOA tyranny. I slapped it on the tow truck's windshield, and the driver bailed. Karen was livid, but she'd overplayed her hand. The neighbors, now fully invested, started clapping. One lady, Mrs. Torres, even brought me a lemonade, whispering, "You're my hero." By the next HOA meeting, the tide had turned. My flamingo stunt went viral on the neighborhood Facebook group, and people were done with Karen's reign of terror. They voted to amend the bylaws, loosening the uniformity rule and limiting the HOA's power to fine over minor decor. Karen tried to fight it, but she was outvoted. Her clipboard no match for the flamingo revolution. I kept a few flamingos out front, just to rub it in. And Gus? He's back by the mailbox, safe and sound. The fines stopped, and Karen's been avoiding me ever since. Rumor has it she's thinking of moving. Good riddance. Looking back, I didn't just save my gnomes, I gave the neighborhood a spine. Sometimes you gotta fight petty with petty, you know. So, what do you think? Was I the hero this street needed, or just a guy with too many flamingos? Drop your thoughts below. I'm dying to hear the end.